I asked an artist to make a picture with these green recycling arrows on top of me. I hope this will help you remember that recycling is very healthy for good old Earth. Recycling is so important that I have come back to tell you even more about it, just to make sure that you understand how much good you are doing when you recycle something. The very first step in the recycling process is, instead of throwing recyclable materials away in an ordinary trash can, you must put these things aside and save them in another container, like a recycling bin. Once you have saved a lot of things to be recycled, they need to be brought to a place called the recycling center. Sometimes people bring their own recyclables directly to the recycling center. In this picture, you can see a place with several large bins of different colors. People can bring all their recyclable materials here, but everything has to go in the right place. Glass goes in one bin, cans go in another, paper in another, and so on. In some places, though, people do not have to go to the recycling center themselves. Instead, they can set out their recycling bins by the side of the road, just like they set out their garbage cans, and a special recycling truck comes by to empty the bins and take the recyclables to the recycling center. I don't know about you, but I think recycling is very interesting. Here's a colorful recycling picture. Can you guess what's being recycled in this picture? This is a picture of plastic bottle tops. All of these bottle tops were collected at a recycling center. They were taken to a plastics recycling factory where they were pressed together in big, colorful mishmash. Later, these bottle tops will be melted down into a liquid so that they can be remolded and turned into something made of plastic that is new. Look around the room you are in right now and see if you can spot anything made of plastic. I bet you can. Maybe it's even made from recycled plastic, or maybe it's something you can recycle when you're done using it so it can be made into something else. What's in this picture? Here are some cans made out of a metal called aluminum. Maybe you have had drinks that come in cans like these. If you throw a can away into a trash can and send it off into a landfill, it will take at least 500 years for that aluminum can to break down and decompose. But if you put the same can in a recycling bin instead, the aluminum metal can be reused and the cans don't have to be buried in a landfill. Let's take a closer look at how cans are recycled. This diagram or drawing shows what happens when you recycle an aluminum can. Aluminum is a natural resource that is mined and dug out of the earth. From there, it goes to a factory where the raw aluminum is made into metal cans that can be filled with things such as soda. After you buy a can of pop and drink it, you are left with an old, used can. You can throw the can in the garbage, but then it will end up in a landfill. A better, more responsible solution is to put the empty can into a recycling bin. These cans have already been sorted and cleaned at a recycling center and are now at a special recycling factory for aluminum. Workers at the recycling factory crush the cans and melt them down into a big cooker with lots of other cans. Maybe they'll make a new can and the cycle will begin all over again. The can gets filled with something to eat or drink. Someone uses the can and puts it in a recycling bin. The can is brought to a recycling center and finally a factory, and so on again and again. What are these bottles made of? These bottles are made of glass. If you tossed bottles like these in the trash, they would be hauled away to a landfill. Some kinds of glass take about 3,000 years to decompose. That's a long time. Luckily, many glass items can be recycled instead. At the glass recycling factory, the glass is crushed into little pieces. Crushed glass is then put into a very hot furnace and melted into a super hot glowing liquid. With enough heat, glass melts just like ice melts. Here is just a little piece of glass that has been heated up so much that it is just about to melt and turn into liquid. Now imagine a big pot full of little bits of glass like this, all eventually melting together into a thick, hot, syrupy liquid. That's what you would find at a glass recycling factory. This picture shows the inside of a bottle-making factory. These are freshly made bottles. They are so hot, you dare not touch them, but they'll be cool and hard again soon. Recycling isn't really hard to do, but I'll admit that it does require a little bit of extra work. Taking the time to decide whether to throw something away in the garbage can or whether to put it in the recycling bin doesn't always make it to the top of the to-do list, but it really is worth the time to take care of good old Earth. Be sure to ask yourself the next time you use a bottle, a can, or anything else, is this recyclable? Can I conserve natural resources by making it into something useful again? So let's talk a little bit about what I just read to you. What was this read aloud mostly about? What was the main idea? Recycling. And what is recycling? Recycling is when you take something and instead of throwing it away, you save it so it could be used and made into something different. Try to think about some things that can be recycled, like plastics. Some plastics can. Glass, cardboard, paper, aluminum. So what happens to the things that you take to a recycling center? Well, it gets made into something new. It can happen in a variety of ways. Paper can't be melted, but glass can be melted. Plastics can be melted and molded into something new. Paper, there's a different process for that. Don't worry, I'm going to do my best to do some research and find some video clips of what happens in a recycling center. So based off of this read aloud, think about a bottle of glass, a glass bottle. What happens when it's brought to the center? So first it's broken up and broken down into smaller parts, then it's melted, then it's molded, and then it's made into new glass. Now, have you ever seen glass melted before? It's pretty hot. Here, watch this clip. Here is a special furnace that was just turned on. This special furnace can get very, very hot, as you see here, dangerously hot. That is the type of temperature you will need in order to melt glass. Once it is as hot as it needs to be, glass can be put inside, and it won't take long before you start to see some changes. First, the bottle label is burned right off, and pretty soon after that, it turns dark from the smoke, but then it starts to melt. Watch. At a recycling center, they don't melt glass one bottle at a time. This is just a small furnace at someone's house. At a recycling center, they do lots and lots of glass all at once. But did you know that you can take glass and make art out of it? Have you ever seen a pretty vase or container? Well, in this next video clip, you will see some people creating art. Believe it or not, what you are seeing is liquid glass. Here you will notice that the really, really hot glass is almost glowing. It is so hot. Once it cools down, it turns darker or clear. If you want to keep working with the glass, you have to do it quickly or keep it hot until you're ready for it to cool down and become hard. You might see studios like this taking clear glass and adding color to it. You might see them taking old recycled pieces of glass and melting them down in giant furnaces before they create something new. I could seriously watch this stuff for another hour. It's so interesting to me, and the people who make these things are very talented. But I also think about how dangerous it could be. I would not want to get anywhere near that hot glass. So, is it important to recycle? I hope you say yes. I hope you agree with me. It is important to recycle. We are trying to do our best not to create waste, to add more to the landfills, and the more you recycle, the less goes to a landfill. In the read aloud today, you heard the word solution, as in a better, more responsible solution is to put empty cans into a recycling bin. Solution. Have you heard that word before? Solution means the answer to a problem. So a problem we're having with Earth right now is that we're creating too much waste. So what could a solution to that problem be? One solution to keep Earth clean is to pick up litter. One solution to keep Earth clean is to recycle more. One solution is to maybe use those 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle. If you think about the word solution, the opposite or antonym of that word solution is a problem. So I'm going to say a few sentences, and I want you to think about if that is a problem or a solution. Number 1, the family cat is stuck in a tall tree. That is a problem. A fireman comes and gets the cat down. That is a solution. 2 sisters are arguing about who gets the last cupcake. That's a problem. The sisters decide to share the cupcake. That's a solution. I wake up in the morning and I can't see. That's a problem. I put my glasses on. That's a solution. Just in case you were wondering about what type of recycling we do at our school, we have a giant dumpster outside. One is for trash, but there's another one that's green and yellow. That one is for paper only. When that paper dumpster gets full, all of that paper is taken in a truck to a recycling center, and we recycle all the paper we can at our school. If you want to see it, let me know. I'll show you. So this concludes the video for the day today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.